like to call to order the meeting of the Mendon Zoning Board of Appeals. This is a recorded meeting. Fine. Anybody on the line? Okay. All right. Roll call attendance.
Video, aye.
Anderson's aye.
Clark. Aye.
Okay, I'm sorry, you said present.
Well,
Present.
President McConnell. Here's that you'll be sitting in as the active
voting.
voting
Voting
member.
of Tom. If I'm present.
Like to recognize Lonnie Tinio, alternate, as active voting member. And I didn't hear from Tom, so I
haven't heard anything from him.
usually by now he punches in, but we're good. We're good to go. But do we have minutes?
Yes, we do. They're from, I believe, February 19th. They should be right there.
Oh, yeah, that's not.
I mean,
I make a motion to approve the minutes from February 19th.
Second.
Oh,
Video, aye.
Anderson's aye.
Clark, aye. This is unanimously. We accept the minutes. Okay, on to the matter of 43 Bay Street rear variance, continued hearing.
Evening.
Yes, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty confusing. Lots of-
Yeah, we got everything.
I'm going to reopen that hearing.
I don't think we closed the meeting, continued, so it's just believe it though, I don't believe we need.
Yeah.
No, would you continue?
I would ask your advice.
Yeah, but I think you continued it on your own, or because you wanted to.
Yeah, so
Or for a little bit to reopen.
It's still on.
I believe so.
okay, so we have your revised variance request, and we appreciate that.
Because the last time we were here, we discovered that there was a little component there that we were missing from our application. That it would be necessary for the proposal. So we amended and then the time we published to address that situation.
but yes.
Just going to see if there's some others or anything that might coming up here. Yeah, no, we hear some stuff going on.
You should get your-
That's very simple.
Yeah. Takes back to the, what's, hi?
Yes.
Welcome. Are you guys here for the Bay Street hearing? Yeah, we just opened it, so.
Simon.
Nothing. Yeah. Great, so we received the amended request and petition. You want to?
Well, again, that was the piece that we did. I understand that the board had some concerns, legal merits that they were going to look into. So I'm not certain.
Yeah.
We had provided legal background for supporting the position that the application was meritorious and you know that. So I'm not sure what the problem was specifically.
Yeah, so I think one of our biggest concerns with this was, the lack of any frontage, right? According to the definition, and do we have rights to grant variance with no frontage, not from zero, right? From 200 feet to zero, right? And I think we can address that in a certain way. And then there was the driveway not being contained within the lot itself. So we asked you to amend. We can just add that condition if we're going to go a certain way. All right. So, any questions from the board at this point, or
Still,
do you want to run through it a bit?
yeah, I think we should run through, because I'm still not in agreement with no frontage, driveway not contained.
Sure. So,
I'm not,
can you just run through, and for the benefit of the abutters as well, just the whole application again?
So again, the petition seeks to permit development of this parcel for a single family. Access is provided to the public way by a an easement that was right of way that was reserved back in the 50s, prior to the advent of zoning. This was a family situation. Parcel was,
And just to clarify, it's not this gentleman's family, they're not related.
correct.
Yeah.
There was a family that owned this parcel and the parcel that the easement crosses over. And at some point, they divided it in this manner. And there being no zoning,
Yeah.
not intending to landlock their parcel, understanding that, at least as the law existed at the time that they did it, they could access it by the right of way that was reserved. And then in doing so, they created the front lot, which was then developed, and they were left with the other land they believed for future development. And zoning came through, and now the great bulk of the parcel is in to the rear of the part with the frontage. And so it is the applicant's position that it is this configuration. It creates some hardship, which is that the use of this multi-acre lot would be lost entirely and lost for its best purpose, which would be as a single family residence.
But there was frontage back, Edward Road. Around it, originally before you owned.
No,
No, I don't believe so.
There wasn't? I thought there was.
no, there was a lot, and I only remember this because I looked to purchase the lot, but then I was gonna. The lot that was next to Genowati's, which had actually, because they had, it was in the same name, it had actually become one lot. They came back to ZBA, remember, then they
Yeah,
separated.
we had a whole problem with that area.
Right, right. So they, that one was the one that, would have had that point be even first, but there was no, that whole subdivision was already completed. This abutted up to it. He has since sold, a portion of that to one of the abutters, but it was back.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's
Yeah,
not,
we had some back.
there was no access from Edwards Road.
Oh, I thought there was.
Not that I recall. I
All right.
don't. No, if anything, when we had looked at it years ago, we looked up to, even the John Ronnie too, to see if there we could get cut decent, but nothing worked out. And, what was, is this the one that's in the email, is that the amendment, is that, can I see that for a second? What's the amendment?
The one without the sticky note is the amended.
Should I see that, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. We just added a prayer for variance, the other provision to the driveway being contained.
Makes sense.
No, I understand, yeah, that I believe covers all of the missing pieces.
Yeah.
Of what the driveway. So that.
I'll do it, so we just got.
Okay. Yeah, so. It obviously, as we discussed, at nothing, it's a difficult decision because again, there is no actual frontage and the driveway is an easement. However, I think that we are here to make these tough decisions based on, there's no other way to utilize this lot. And being pre-existing. And I don't see a legal reason not to allow, that's what we're here to do, is to grant the relief for that. I was leaning the other way at the beginning, but I'm glad we took time to really not to rush this out, because I feel like now that especially that being corrected,
And it's all,
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Again, it's asking, before it was just frontage, right? Thinking that the easement was,
Yeah, yes. So, why don't we hear from some of others?
Yeah.
And so, any,
I'm just curious what was amended.
sure, yeah, so the,
Just an explanation.
absolutely, you know what?
go ahead.
So the original, application was only for for frontage, right? Because there's not enough frontage or any frontage for that. However, with the easement, you have that, the width of the easement. Frontage. Some other pieces that needed to be covered were, the driveway needs to be, within, it has to meet side setbacks, which you couldn't meet in the variance, so that has to be granted. As well as what was their third item?
Yeah.
That was it. So basically, the proposal has not changed.
Because
We're not suggesting we want to do anything different. It was just another piece of zoning relief that we did not ask for in the original application. That being that I would be included entirely within the law.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the law.
So we're not proposing to change anything different. We haven't changed the proposal. We just need another piece of zoning relief in order to do what we.
That,
So how wide is that?
have you seen the plan at all, or would you like to see it?
I'm just.
I wasn't even here. 15 feet. The easement is 15 feet, so the driveway will be contained in that 15 feet, 15 foot.
So I go down 50-foot driveway and turn into that property?
Well, absolutely. I mean, a fire truck and most driveways are 11 and 12.
Is there,
I mean, and again, from a zoning standpoint, anything to do with, fire truck concerns or public safety concerns will be discussed at the planning board. That's what those items are discussed. So if the fire department would like to have a turnaround in there so that the fire truck doesn't have to try to back out, or something like that, they'll address those at the planning board.
There's more than enough room on the lot.
Oh, that.
Accommodate whatever.
Yeah, but it's no different than any other house, any other house will belong, or, an odd driveway.
but for the
If it
record,
was multiple homes, here's a different story.
what is your,
So it's 15 feet.
understand your name and address for the record, just so
I'm
we.
sorry. Clearly only 12 feet.
Thanks, okay? And any other questions or concerns? Yeah, one thing we want to be careful is making sure that, we don't set a precedent for granting variance
That's what I'm worried
with
about.
no frontage. So we had tried to address that with this decision to make sure that, granting a variance based on the statutory requirements for the various proposed, like the variance, the zoning bylaw.
I don't want these coming up all the time.
Yeah.
And I think the uniqueness of this particular situation is that it was created like this for zoning existed. So I can't imagine that you're gonna have a flood of people with this exact situation coming in here. And so I don't think that this should really create a huge concern about precedent. Because I don't think that this situation exists. And any petition that comes before this board comes before this board on a case-by-case basis. And everyone is different. Just because you decide one way one time, it doesn't mean you need to decide another way another time, because every parcel is unique, every situation is unique. And there's always going to be some factor that differentiates one application from the other. And therefore, this board would use that as a basis for denial. Like I said, I think this is an incredibly unique situation.
Some of the key components here that are unique and appropriate here to the favorable decision is that the applicant didn't create this hardship. Had you created this, even pre-creating zoning, you have a hard time approving this.
Well, I can see where it wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
That was before that.
The configuration of the lot, it's pretty unique and it's, it's constrained by property. So it makes it really difficult, but it is a sizable lot that is appropriate for the neighborhood, for at least a single family home. And the decision will be that limited to a single family home. And it's super important, as the brother pointed out, that the deeded right of way is legally recorded and provides continuous access and emergency vehicle, sufficient for emergency vehicle access. What else here? Yeah, and it's, consistent with the nature and the makeup of that neighborhood. It's not detrimental to that town, to the neighborhood, to abutting properties. It follows with our desire to have sustainable, low impact development. Had someone secured an adjacent parcel and put 6 houses in there and a cul-de-sac. It's just, we don't want that. We prefer not to have that now. We can take some land and make single family lot,
Will it be a paved right of way? Huh? Will it be a paved right of way?
Yes, absolutely. And just to refresh your recollection, it's through this. The proposal includes conveying another portion to an abutting landowner, which would sort of take that out of commission and would create more buffer to protect the adjacent land, abutting landowners from the home being closer to proximity to their homes.
The only other thing I recall from other butters was concerned about some sort of buffer.
Yeah, I mean,
The only thing I maybe would add as a stipulation is to leave at least like, don't cut trees within a 20-foot buffer to the lot line.
we could
I mean,
put that in.
there's like 6.5 acres to be good. I am supposed to build that one house.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So you still have a couple 100 feet that way.
Yeah.
A couple 100 feet that way.
Yeah.
Probably 100 feet go to that side. 400 from.
Yeah.
So I don't think we would have concerns about conditions such as that, as long as it's worded so that it doesn't prevent us from cutting grass.
Well, you gotta cut your access.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'll make a motion, sorry, any other questions? I'll make a motion to close the hearing for 43 Bay Street, Reader.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Any aye.
Walter side.
Art, aye. Motion to close carries unanimously. Is there a motion, someone want to take a motion based on this?
Yes.
Have the conditions?
How wide is that variance?
15 and a quarter feet, 15 feet.
Yeah, that number.
So I make a motion that we approve the variance, reducing frontage to 200 feet, utilizing the easement 15 and a quarter feet, allowing the driveway to exist outside the limits of the lot serviced through an easement, and allow that the driveway be located closer than 10 feet to the side lot.
Not close, right?
It is close.
It will be closer,
Oh,
It just, yeah,
Yeah.
that's small.
and then. No, I think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
On that one little corner.
Yeah, those are, that would be the motion.
And subject to any conditions or?
I don't.
You want to put any condition cutting within 100 feet?
Yeah, I can add a condition. Okay, I get you. Driveway shall be maintained in a condition suitable for emergency vehicle access. No additional lots shall be created utilizing this right of way without further zoning relief. The approval is limited to the use presented in the application. Any material change in excess configuration shall require, which shall require further board review. as well as leaving a 20-foot no-cut buffer.
20, whatever you want.
No disturbance.
Yeah.
On the
No disturbance buffer
on the-
perimeter, almost like
on the perimeter. Not to be in the way
So
of,
that's necessary to provide access.
yeah, exactly. Who's writing this?
well, it's just, I have a draft. We can.
I would, sorry, let's finish the motions.
Second,
Second. All in favor, roll call vote.
Sorry, before I vote, I just want to reiterate again, we right now, the certain issues, so. That's nothing to do with this. No, I wasn't supposed to be voting on this, but. So I will vote.
The appearance of a conflict is recognized, and I think we agree it's not whether it impacted the ability to party. Roll call vote.
second,
Second,
aye.
Clark, aye, the motion unanimously, and the variance is granted.
Thank you. Thank you for putting that before the school.
Oh, no. I want to get it right.
We want to get it right.
appreciate everybody's patience because it wasn't a cut and dry. But I would, before we, get the,
Send this.
yeah, before we, get sense, once this is, once you have the decision finalized, please send it up to the applicant for review before we kick off time period,
Yeah, I think just
only because,
want to get things documented as well.
yeah, there was, I just went through one and one, it was missing a comma or something. It's done between the, I forget exactly. I didn't say that.
All
Well,
right.
you were happy to take that.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, that's all we have for everything.
We have to have a motion to close this.
Second,
Favor?
Anyhow,
Answer's aye.
Clark, aye.
thanks, everybody.
Thank you.